The late 17th and early 18th century were marked by a strong theme of philosophers studying the ideas of government, democracy, and the way people should be ruled. Enlightenment philosophers like Jean-Jacques Rousseau proposed different ideas on the rights of man and how this intersects with government. These ideas were significant in shaping future governments. Jean-Jacques Rousseau was born to an educated watchmaker in Geneva in 1712. When he was 10, his father got into a legal dispute and his family was forced to flee Geneva. From that point on, Rousseau's life was marked by deep instability and isolation. As a young man who went to Paris and there was exposed to the opulence and luxury that was the order of the day in Austin regime Paris. It was a far cry from his birthplace to Geneva city that was sober and deeply opposed to luxury goods. Then, one day in 1749, he read a copy of a newspaper, the Mercure de France, that contained an advert for an essay on the subject of whether recent advances in arts and sciences have contributed to what was called purification of morals. In other words, was the world getting better? Jean-Jacques Rousseau was a Genevan philosopher, writer, and composer. His political philosophy influenced the progress of enlightenment throughout Europe, as well as aspects of the French Revolution and the development of modern political, economic, and educational thought.
In the discourse on the origins and foundations of inequality, humans were once good in the state of nature, when men and women were more empathetic and wanted to understand their own minds, and so being drawn toward essential features of a satisfied life, a love of family, respect for nature, and simple entertainment. They were free. Rousseau claimed that the march towards civilization had awakened in people an unhealthy form of self-love, something that was artificial and centered around pride, jealousy, and vanity. According to Rousseau, the powerful rich stole the land belonging to everyone and fooled the common people into accepting them as rulers. Rousseau concluded that the social contract was not a willing agreement, as Hobbes, Locke, and Montesquieu had believed, but a fraud against the people committed by the rich. In 1762, Rousseau published his most important work on political theory, The Social Contract. His opening line is still striking today. Man is born free, and everywhere he is in chains. Rousseau agreed with Locke that the individual should never be forced to give up his or her natural rights to a king. The problem in the state of nature, Rousseau said, was to find a way to protect everyone's life, liberty, and property, while each person remained free. Rousseau's solution was for people to enter into a social contract. They will give up all their rights, not to a king, but to the whole community, to all the people. He called all the people the sovereign, a term used by Hobbes to mainly refer to a king. The people then exercised their general will to make laws for the public good.
Rousseau argued that the general will of the people could not be decided by elected representatives. He believed in a direct democracy in which everyone voted to express the general will and to make the laws of the land. Rousseau had in mind a democracy on a small scale, a city-state like his native Geneva. In Rousseau's democracy, anyone who disobeyed the general will of the people will be forced to be free. He believed that citizens must obey the laws or be forced to do so as long as they remain a resident of the state. This is a civil state, Rousseau says, where security, justice, liberty, and property are protected and enjoyed by all. All political power, according to Rousseau, must reside with the people exercising the general will. There can be no separation of powers, as Montesquieu proposed. The people meeting together will deliberate individually on laws and then by majority vote find their general will. Rousseau's general will was last embodied in the words, "We the people," at the beginning of the U.S. Constitution. A monarch should also follow a set of rules, meaning that he doesn't have the absolute power, but the power the people gave him. He was power because the people allow it, and it should not be used to harm them. His point is that a state is the power that a person gives to an entity in exchange of protection.
Rousseau's main claim was that individuals had once been good and happy, but as people had emerged from their pre-social state and joined society, they had become more plagued by vice and sin. Rousseau died in 1778, aged 66. Rousseau's work, such as his novels Émile and The Social Contract, inspired the leaders of the French Revolution and the Romantic generation. He also created a basis for modern democracy and the legislative, judicial, and executive branches with the purpose of creating a balance of power in society.